Want to become an elite level athlete? Well, look no further. The Reclaim Your Throne Elite D1 training course is all you need to take your performance from subpar to the creme de la creme of athletes all around the world. The purpose of this course is to give you a comprehensive weight training, speed, flexibility, recovery, and endurance program that is meant to prepare young athletes for collegiate and professional sports. This course is packed with over 2 hours of creative, action-packed lifts narrated and coached by yours truly to assure increased strength, speed, flexibility, recovery, and endurance. Hey, I get it. Training alone can be tough and can even make you feel misguided or somewhat unmotivated. But with this course, I walk you step by step through each and every lift to make sure you're using the proper form to prevent injuries and that you're hitting the correct muscle groups to render maximum results. So what are you waiting for? It's now or never. So go ahead and get the training course today so you too can reclaim your throne.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's your boy Reclaim Your Throne coming at you with another crazy video. But first, my goal is to get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe. You already know. Reclaim your throne. So guys, I wanted to go live on this topic. I've been seeing this TikTok trend where a lot of women are reacting to it. Specifically, Black women are reacting to this video that this sister put up saying that Black women are not the beauty standard in DC. Now, I'm going to have a little pushback on that because I am familiar with DC and the DMV area. You know, they call DC Chocolate City. One of the most populated cities of Black folks in the United States is in Washington, DC. So I'm going to give a little pushback on it because I don't necessarily think that this thing is about race. I think it's more about the woman's demeanor, the way she carries herself, and the entitlement coming from modern women in general. Okay, this is an entitlement issue that we are seeing, and you know, I just think that a lot of these women are trying to make it Black men's fault that they aren't being able to get married or get into long-term relationships, and that couldn't be further from the truth. Okay, so as we get into that conversation, we're going to look at some other videos beforehand just to, you know, warm us up. Currently on X, I apparently I made a post that really got the white supremacist Twitter fired up, and they're going crazy in my comments right now, which is it's very wild, and some of it is annoying actually, but we're going to disregard that, and maybe later on today I'll do an X space to address this and really put this thing to bed, because it's so funny. These guys, they'll say, oh well, you know, you guys aren't y'all have low IQ and you can't argue and debate. But then the first thing that they go to is ad hominems, calling you a nigga and all this type of shit. And it's just like, bruh, y'all the main ones talking about people can't debate and have intellectual conversations. But then the first thing you jump to is calling someone a name when you cannot combat their ideas. So with that being said, I just want to get into this video. This sister is talking about men with wandering eyes. So this is what we're going to start off with. Men with wandering eyes. We're going to break it down. We're going to talk about it. And then we will be right back.
I truly do not believe that men realize how embarrassing they actually are. There's no way on planet Earth that you should be with your significant other even glancing at another girl. Because it's two things that's going to go through that girl's head that's being glanced at. Either one, she's going to be like, oh, I could have him if I wanted to. Or she's going to be like, yeah, he be cheating on her. Like you putting there.
All right. Here's another. We kind of addressed this yesterday with the live stream yesterday, where the woman was upset that she went through her man's watch history and he was looking at a whole bunch of girls. The reality is sexual access and sexual variety is essential to a man's mental health. So with this open sexual marketplace, men are going to be looking at attractive women, whether online or in person. Now, obviously, if you're with your girl in person, you don't want to, do a neck turn or a neck breaking movement or motion to show that you're maybe attracted to a woman. But these are universal truths that we have come to understand looking at male nature, looking at female nature, and just really understanding how the two opposing sexes work hand in hand together and independently. So, I mean, you have a lot of women speaking about the wandering eyes thing, wandering eyes, as if they don't have wandering eyes. I mean, these are the same women who are saying, talk to 5 guys at the same time. Make sure that you have a roster. Make sure that you have a whole bunch of dudes who are jocking you. This is the type of rhetoric that they're putting down. This is the type of direction that they're leading women in. But the moment a man actually is expressing his his objective uh God-given imperative, then it's a problem. Now, obviously, should you have control over your lust and whatnot? Yes, of course. But at the same time, I think that for one, women are overestimating their own attractiveness. So they're saying, oh, well, these men have wandering eyes. When, okay, a man glances at you, it doesn't mean that he actually is interested in you. A man looks at you or takes a peek at you, it doesn't mean he's actually interested in you. Maybe you had something on your face. Maybe you had a t-shirt that was interesting. He wanted to read it. Maybe there are other reasons why this man is looking at a woman, around his girl or with his girl or without his girl, that don't have anything to do with him being attracted to that woman. So let's keep going.
And everybody in your business because you can't keep your eyes to yourself. So today I was in Target and I was just getting my cart and me just being aware of my surroundings. I noticed this guy that's with a woman and this with like a toddler, right? So it's giving family. So
So here she's telling a
I
story
see
about
is
how
him like
some guy looked
looking like
at her who had a family. And let's keep it a buck. Was he really interested in her? I don't know. But I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. I think that they are really overestimating their attractiveness. I really do.
in this with like a toddler, right? So it's giving family. So all I see is him like looking like over his girl's shoulder to look back at me. So I'm like, anyways, like I don't pay him no mind. I continue with my shopping, not thinking anything of it. And next thing I know, he's in the same aisle as me, but she's nowhere to be found. He's trying to hurry up and fast talk. He's like, oh, like, what's your name? I said, I don't have one. He's like, well, here, take my number down. He gives me like a balled up back of a receipt with like a number on it, right? So at first I was not gonna take it, but I'm like, no, 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 no. She has to know this. She has to know this. So I take it. I continue with my shopping, but I'm like very much like trying to find them again because he left. I finished my shopping. I'm checking out. I see them in self checkout. I'm with the cashier. So I said, okay, cool. I don't have too many items. My cashier should be done very soon. I should be able to either catch them either over there or walking out. And that's exactly what happened. I'm walking past self checkout and I'm like, hey, babes, excuse me. She looks at me. I'm just like, are you two together? Like in a relationship? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, he gave me his number and you were nowhere to be found. The only reason I took it was to show you that he gave me his number.
So she's saying the man gave us a lot of these stories, I believe, honestly, are completely fabricated as well. Like, y'all are such cap, bro. There's no way the man gave you his number. You went to his girl. I mean, these chicks literally be shy as a mouse in church. They be shy as a mouse in church, but then acting like they're super bold in real life. Y'all are cap, bro. It's
Walking
cap.
out. And that's exactly what happened. I'm walking past self checkout and I'm like, hey, babes, excuse me. She looks at me. I'm just like, are you two together? Like in a relationship? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, he gave me his number and you were nowhere to be found. The only reason I took it was to show you that he gave me his number. I'm completely uninterested. You are super duper beautiful. I'm not too sure why he's doing these things, but good luck to you, babes. Have a good one. And I left. Like it could have been being messy, but like I don't feel like it was being messy, babes. I was trying to look out for that girl. Like Because that is so embarrassing. That is so embarrassing. And on a different note, I was having like dinner one day with like a couple, right? Like it was like a couple's date. And the girl that I'm sitting there with, like I just met her, but she just asked me randomly, she was like, do you allow like your boyfriend to like look at other girls when y'all are together? And I was like, girl, no, what? And she was like, yeah, I need to learn from you. I need to learn from you. So I was like, dude, what do you mean? Like, what you mean? Like, I'm not trying to be like he be doing.
Bruh, I swear these stories are made up. Yo, I think these chicks will like sit on TikTok, brainstorm on what will go viral, and then they just make these stories up because this is not true, bruh.
That with you, but I'm like, what you mean by that? And so he chimes in with his looking ass, and he's like, I mean, like, what you mean? Like, why not? Like, you like he said something along the lines of like, you're looking at another girl to give her recognition for how good she looks. Like something like
What, bro? Ain't no way a man is going to explain looking at another woman in front of his girl and another woman that he's giving her recognition that she looks good. Bruh. See, and this is why it's hard to react to these TikTok videos because I just don't believe modern women. I don't. The way that they recant stories and recall stories, it is completely ridiculous. It really is, man. Like most of these stories are completely unbelievable, fabricated, and you're not going to convince me otherwise.
that. Like, I don't remember verbatim, but it was something along those lines. And I was like, so you gonna make another girl feel pretty while your girl is sitting right next to you? You not paying her no man, you looking at her? Excuse you? Like I almost had to cuss him out. Like, nigga, you got to get up from this table, babe. I can't be around no energy like this. I just say, like, that girl probably knows she look good. You don't need to be sitting there with your girl making another girl feel like she look good or whatever you're trying to do, because that's not a good look. Because on the flip side, I feel like if a man was sitting there with his girl and she was just looking at other guys, checking them out, not really paying him no mind, she has wandering eyes so bad, he would literally crash out. So I'm not even understand why we having this conversation.
So, I mean, you heard it. It's just like, okay, I 100% don't believe any of that happened. Literally. And like I said, the post goes viral, 5,960 comments. Let me see how many views it got. Let me turn off this extra stuff. I don't know how long she posted it. Okay. 1.4 million views. Like, bro, these chicks be capping, bro. Capping for the views. All these stories are completely fabricated. Now, I'm not saying that there's no time in history where she didn't catch or see somebody's man looking at another woman, but I don't believe that she went up to him, got the number, and then came back around and gave the girl the number. I do not believe that at all. These chicks be scared as hell, and they are non-confrontational, trying to avoid conflicts. The most that they would probably do is go on Instagram and DM your girl talking about, oh, your man's in my DMs. That is something that I could see and believe. But them saying, oh, well, I went up to her and I told her her man was, bruh, this is all cat, bro. So let's go on to the next story. We have a woman complaining about Egyptian men who are African men. Now, are these African men black men? Probably not. But here we go. It's going to be very interesting. I just want to point out the fact that if a black man were to make a video disparaging or calling a certain demographic of women the final boss and you know, making it seem like they're difficult to date, the social media would have a fit. They would have a fit. And there is just open hypocrisy when it comes to these dating topics between men and women. So let's get into it.
Something I really wish I did was keep the screenshots or at least like screen record the voice memos from when I was talking to this Egyptian boy.
Okay, so just remember, no screenshots, no voice memos. Bro, these women are not deleting message threads unless they have a man. They're not deleting message threads from dudes who are trying to hit them up. Like I told you guys before, modern women love embarrassing men on social media. So any evidence that they have to embarrass a man, they're going to use it. They're going to keep it. Now, anything that she says from here on, I'm looking at through a skeptical lens because she is trying to make it seem like, you know, this guy was going crazy in her messages and voice memos. And excuse me, I just doubt it.
Because he scared me so bad. And he scared me because like the way that Nigerian women be like, no, leave our men alone. The way that Jamaican women be like, no, leave our men alone. You feel me? The way that African American women be like, no, leave our men alone. Like, you know who we never hear from enough? Who should absolutely be warning us about their men? The Egyptian girls. He just really
So when they're talking about warning us about their men, when white women, Asian women, black women, etc., speak about warning other women against going after their men, it's not saying, oh, well, these men are bad, so don't date them. Well, maybe white women do that a lot. You know, there's a whole thing on TikTok where they're talking down to white men, and then white men are just acting like it's not happening. And then they will acknowledge when it happens. But then whenever, you know, a black man gets with a white woman or anybody outside of his race, then they got something to say. But that's neither here nor there. Y'all need to get in control of your own women before you start coming over here and talking about us. But you have these women warning against dating their race of men. And it's not because they're saying, oh, these men are bad. These men are bad. It's so that there's less competition for them to date those men. So, you know, for black women, for instance, when black women are saying, okay, stay away from our men, they're not saying it because, oh, black men are bad and all this kind of stuff, even though they might actually believe that. But they're saying it in order to have black men to themselves. So I just want to make that clarification before she goes on with the story.
He did not even really do nothing super duper crazy because I don't think it was like a him thing per se.
So he didn't do anything crazy. Then why would you, you know, think to keep the messages and keep the message threads and all this kind of stuff? If he didn't do anything crazy, then what's the problem with y'all's interaction? See, this is some of the things that I have an issue with these women, because on one end, she's saying, oh, well, he didn't do anything crazy. But then on the other end, it's almost like she's trying to expose him and other Egyptian men for being difficult to deal with when it comes to dating.
He was just so intense. And I, as diaspora final boss, really thought that I knew what intensity was. You don't. Like, what I had really liked about him was that he spoke English like the same way he spoke Arabic, because English is like his second language. You familiar with Houston? I used to live over by this little place called La Pasha. It's like off Westheimer. It's where like all the North Africans and like the Arab people go, because like a ritzy like hookah spot type situation. I went in there one time because I lived in them little ghetto ass apartments behind it. That's where I had met him at. Anyway, girl, he would send like the Arab message because he was going to teach me how to. It's just not funny. He was just so serious. And but he was so serious like 3 days in. So that was the thing. Like, he would send the Arab message, and then underneath that, he would send the English translation. And then underneath that, he would say into the voice memo what he was saying in the other two messages.
I mean, that to me, it is triple texting, and I advise you guys against triple texting. But to me, that seems pretty courteous. It seems like because he's dealing with you, he wants you to adapt to his culture and blend in with his culture. But instead, she's making a TikTok video bashing this man and acting like what he did was wrong or crazy or toxic or something that was abusive. And it's just, I think it's wrong for her to group in these Egyptian men as if this is what all of them do. He's obviously trying to teach you. Why would you not want to learn Arabic? Right? Why would you not want to learn another language and be interested in another language? But she's trying to make it seem like that was intense or that was wrong of him.
Like, it really did geek so bad. It was very effective for, like, if I had stayed down, I probably could have learned a bit of Arabic because he was so like thorough with it. But like Arabic is such like a poetic, flowery language, and like I say, he spoke English like he spoke Arabic. So his good morning text would be like, Mecca, flower of my life, light of my life, my beautiful queen. I will marry you. I will give you sons. Hope you have a nice day. Like, I'm not even guessing it. He would tell me how America wasn't shit. How, you feel me, Egypt way better. We gonna go to Egypt and frolic around. He want to show me, you feel me, all the things that they got to do in Egypt, because all we have to do out here is club and shit. And I'll be like,
all right, now that's where I draw the line. I mean, and obviously he wanted to take her back to his homeland because the law of the land is different, and the way that men are able to treat women in Egypt is way different. It's much more of a subservient culture when it comes to how the women interact with the men. Obviously, you're going to be under Islam, so you're going to have to abide by certain aspects of Sharia law. And Egypt, they're very much in tune with radical Islamics. Like they're trying to prevent radical Islam, but they are an Islamic country overall. So, and there are Christians in Egypt too. And that's why we had the issues where in Gaza, I don't want to get deep into it, but basically they weren't accepting refugees from Gaza when Israel actually ended up invading and, doing their thing. But this is a power dynamic thing. He's trying to bring her back to Egypt. And what do we say as passport bros? What do we say as passport bros? You don't bring sand to the beach. If you have Egyptian women who, I mean, let's keep it a buck. Egyptian women are pretty attractive. Why are you bringing an American woman to Egypt as if she's going to just adapt and assimilate seamlessly? It's not going to happen. She is going to get in trouble over there. Remember that story that I did where the black woman was dating a Saudi Arabian man and he was, I mean, essentially abusive. He took a couple more wives. He wasn't abusive. He wasn't physically abusive, but to her, it was perceived as abuse because he kept her in the basement while he was trying to procure more wives. And then her son was facing intense racism in Saudi Arabia. So it wasn't a good situation for them. Long story short, she was able to come back to the States. And then her sister eventually told her story on TikTok. But I think these women have, they always talk about, oh, I need me an Arabic man. There's a trend on TikTok. Oh, I need me an Arabic man. Not understanding that Arabic men are some of the most, what women would consider toxic in the States. They fall into that category. Okay. They're more stringent on what their women can wear. They're more stringent on where their women can go. They're more stringent on what their women can say around other men and how they interact with them and their children. So you got to be cognizant of other people's culture when you are acting as if, you're going to go over and date these types of men because you're just not understanding the differences, the stark differences. You got an Egyptian guy in the States talking about America ain't shit and all this kind of stuff. We don't have the same values. And as much as women, especially, love to get on here and talk about how America ain't this, America ain't that, if you go to another country, you definitely will not be treated as well as you are in the States.
Like, we have other stuff to do out here. It's not just clubbing. Oh, girl, he would talk so much shit about American food, girl. He hated this food. He hated this food real bad. Anyway, I had stopped talking to him because me and Sabrina was out at the club one day, and right. Here we go. We was out at the club, and he started blowing my motherfucking phone up, and he said, "Where you at?" I was like, "I'm with my cousin." He said, "Where at?" I was like, "Bar 5015." He was like, "I'm coming to get you." What the fuck? No, he's not. This motherfucker told me he was gonna give me like 3 or 4 cents, and I really took that as a direct threat at the time. Like, I really did. I was like, I'm in fear for my life. Why? First of all, here go me. Always got to be difficult. What if we have daughters? We won't.
Wow. So apparently she asked, "What if we had daughters?" And then he said, "We won't." So a lot of these chicks, man, they just don't understand what they're getting into when they are claiming to date out and all this kind of stuff. Look, when a man dates outside of his race, it's a lot easier to control the dynamic because most women are going to fall into your mold. But it's hard for women, especially a Western woman, to fall into the mold of a Muslim man, period. It doesn't matter if he's Egyptian, Saudi Arabian, Turkish, whatever. If he is Muslim, then it's going to be hard for any woman to fall into that mold because you're going to have to give up a lot of your freedom. You're going to have to give up the way that you dress. You're going to have to give up the way that you speak. You're going to have to give up the way that you believe your life is going to pan out. You're going to have to give up your job. You're going to have to give up monogamy in some instances, especially if you have a well-to-do Arab man and he takes you back to the motherland and that becomes that. So there's so much confusion. There's so much confusion as to the dynamics of interracial dating when it comes to from a woman's perspective, because, she's going to have to pretty much mold to that man's figure. And that in many cases, not always easy. Let's get into the next video. We have, we're going to get into the main topic, the main event shortly. But I do want to talk about femcells. Femcells, okay? And what is a femcell? A femcell is a woman who is involuntarily celibate, which we all know that it doesn't really exist. Any woman can get papped out if she wants to by any man, but can they get the men that they desire? And that is why we signify that, okay, they are, they're not technically femcells, right? I'm sure this woman has had sex before, but she's not getting the man that she desires. So that is what makes her a quote unquote femcell. So this woman is going to talk about why she's done dating men. All right. And I don't know if she's going to become lesbian after this. I don't know what her goal is for this, but let's get into it.
So I'm going to tell you the reason why I dropped out of the dating pool, and I hope this encourages people that are going through the same issues to do the same. Every single guy that I have talked to or tried to talk to, whether it was on a dating app, whether it was IRL, like they're
all right. So on a dating app, on IRL, let's keep it a buck. Most of the men that she talked to came from a dating app and then possibly transitioned to IRL. And I'm counting all social media apps as dating apps. One, bad bitches are not on dating apps, right? That's just the reality. Bad bitches don't need dating apps. The most attractive women are not going to be on dating apps, okay? But in the event that they are on dating apps, then you have to consider what might be going on in their life and in their relationship that push them or nudge them toward dating apps because there's a lot of different factors. One of the factors being that men aren't, quote unquote, approaching women anymore, which is something that I've been hearing a lot. And there is some truth to that. And I actually advocate for men not approaching women IRL if you have not, improved yourself. But that could be a factor as to why she has resorted to dating apps. Obviously, the way that she looks, it's not going to really attract men and have men flocking to her. She just doesn't have like that look that somebody would say, damn, she bad. Like, it's not really that. She deserves a Malcolm, okay? She deserves a Malcolm, all right? A mildly attractive, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable man. And a lot of these women just don't understand, baby. Your man, he exists. He's just working at the poultry. Your man, he exists. He's just working at the water plant. Your man, he exists. He's working on getting his CDL. Your man, he exists. He is a plumber. Your man, he exists. He's an electrician. Your man, he exists. He's just a roofer. Women who look like this need to understand that they should be going after blue collar men. You're not going to get the finance bro. It's not going to happen because finance bros get bad bitches. So, ultimately, they're not going to settle for a woman who is objectively 4 out of 5. All right. It does look like she could stand to lose some weight. Also, she just has very strong facial features, but her facial hair is not matching up with it, meaning she doesn't have, and I know we got a whole bunch of fake lashes and all this kind of stuff. And this may be the reason why she doesn't have very defined lashes or eyebrows, because she's wearing too much makeup. And it, like, you see how dark my eyebrows are? When you put all that mascara and the eyebrow liner and all that kind of stuff on your eyebrows and on your eyelashes, it damages your hair. It dries out your hair, and your hair starts to fall out. Your facial hair is, it's the same as the hair on top of your head. As a matter of fact, it is on your head, being that it is on your face. And you got this chick right here, and you see her eyebrows are very much thinning. And I guarantee that she draws on her eyebrows. I guarantee it. So when you're starting from a low objective beauty rating, and then you're basically doing other things that you believe are enhancing, but it's only temporarily enhancing, and in long term damaging your skin or your face or some of your features, then you're not really going to be successful in your dating endeavors if you're trying to get some finance, high value man, top tier Malcolm, massively attractive, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable man. You're not going to be able to get that. You're going to be regulated to the bottom tier Malcolms, the massively ugly, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable man. You're going to be regulated to the second bottom tier Malcolm, which is, the mildly attractive, lucrative, or medium ugly rather, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable man. So these are the men that you're going to be regulated to. And I think that these women really need to understand that, because I think they're deluding themselves as to what they actually are able to command in the dating market. Like I said, your man is a roofer. Your man is a plumber. Your man is a landscaper. He's not on Wall Street, baby.
All the same. I'm sorry. That's just like what I'm gonna say. I feel like a majority of guys have this intrinsic nature to just like lie or cheat or just anything out of their will, because they just don't like loyalty. And so they'll like lie to.
All right. So, I mean, we've talked about this before, but the way that a man shows his loyalty is different from the way that a woman shows his loyalty. And we all know this is just an objective truth that sexual access to sexual variety is essential to a man's mental health. And if a man is able to get sexual access, it may work out. But then once he is introduced to sexual variety, then it's pretty much hard for that man to go back to just the sexual aspect dynamic of it. Hence the phrase sexual access and sexual variety is essential to a man's mental health. So what she is perceiving as cheating, as lying, as manipulating is really just a man trying to exercise, his nature. And obviously, you should be truthful about that. But I think that women like to lie to themselves too. Sometimes men are straight up and tell you, hey, sexual access and sexual variety is essential to a man's mental health, and da 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 da. And they will tell you this, but the women don't want to hear it, and they believe that they can change the man's mind, and then they end up getting hurt in the process. Let's keep going.
To a girl to try to get in her pants. And the amount of times, like, I have talked to people with good intentions and told them my intentions, and they will try and lie and align it with their own just so they can win you over. I'm honestly just done. Like, you would think there's so many single men in the world. Like, it should be so easy to find someone who wants a loving relationship because
Oh, and I love that she said this, because we have so many women out here saying there's 8 billion people in the world. There's 8 billion people in the world. And I've already broken down the numbers on my Twitter. I mean, most men are not going to meet the standard that what these women are saying, okay, with the 6 6s. So yes, there might be 8 billion people in the world, but then half of those people are women. And then 90% of those people don't make as much as you want, aren't tall enough, aren't the same race that you're looking for. So all of these factors and dynamics play into why women are single today. And traveling, okay, 8 billion people in the world, but you've never left the country. So you are regulated to 350 million people, half of that being women. So you have to exclude them, right? So now you got 175 million people, and you're not as hot as you think you are. So now you got to break that down and say, okay, well, how many of these people, these men, the 175 million men, are eligible, right? And then it just goes down and down from there. We've seen the delusion calculator. We've seen all of these tools to give women perspective, but they refuse to listen.
a lot of men say that they want that. But it's just the way that they go about it and the encounters that I've had enough to like literally quit. I am done. Recently, a very traumatic situation happened to me, and let's just say, long story short, he violated my boundaries. My focus of school.
Now, I would love to hear that story. I would love to hear that story. And maybe on her TikTok, she has the story. But let's see. Or sorry. I hate when TikTok loads, it automatically plays the video. Aurora speaks. All right, maybe she's told that story, or maybe she will tell that story on her TikTok. So I'm going to try and find it. But in the meantime, let's keep listening.
School is now shifted, and I was trying to get the situation settled. Like, I literally had to miss school. And now every time I do my homework, I just can't stop thinking about what happened. And as much as I would love and adore being in a long-term relationship, which is literally all I want, which I didn't think it would be this hard. Because it's like, okay, well, I know I'm not that ugly, right? I know my personality isn't bad.
So I wouldn't say she's ugly. I would also not say that she's super attractive. And everything that I said about the makeup and the eyebrows and all that kind of stuff, I was right. She does draw on her eyebrows. And I just think that that's detrimental to your overall attractiveness. She does wear the lashes. And I think it hurts in the long run. I really do think it hurts her in the long run.
End up getting taken advantage of always, whether it's monetary, whether it's sexually, like in any form, where form, always. Like, I was literally on the phone with this dude, and he was just like, well, a lot of men are like narcissistic, and I try not to be, and automatic.
Dude, this is such BS. The narcissistic male, the narcissistic man. Dude, this is ridiculous. Okay? This is ridiculous. Women are the number one narcissist. Women are way more narcissistic than men. That's why men are not over here taking selfies like that. Men are not over here posting 1,000 pictures of themselves like that. Men are not over here spending hours in the mirror looking at themselves. Bro, I really don't understand how they created this narrative that men are the number one narcissist when if we look at, which a lot of these women don't even understand the definition of narcissism or narcissistic personality disorder, which is a chronic mental health condition that involves a long-term pattern of exaggerated self-importance, an excessive need for admiration, and an inability to empathize with others. Now, who does that sound like? Does that sound like modern men or sound like modern women? Because I damn sure think that sounds like modern women. Shout out to Sergeant Hoddle. He says, this Lizzo can fornicate with a 7 plumber, but that should be out of her league to lock down. Maybe she can pull a 5 plumber. Yeah. I mean, she's a 3, a 4. With makeup on, she can get to a 5. I'll show you guys her page. But she needs a Malcolm, a medium ugly or massively ugly, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable man. That's her problem. That's the problem right there.
Like, I looked at that and I was like, okay, you're just another man. But it just sucks because, like, my whole life.
So you heard what she said. The man tries to say, oh, I feel like a lot of guys are narcissistic and I try not to be like that. And then she just brushes him off and says, oh, you're just another man. He's trying to explain to you that he is not trying to be like that. And she views that as, oh, well, just another man talking BS. I mean, it is, it doesn't make sense to me. And now we're having issues streaming on X. Let's see. All right, let me fix this. But yeah, it's wild, bro.
Form, always. Like, I was literally on the phone with this dude and he was just like, well, a lot of men are like narcissistic and I try not to be. And automatically, like, I looked at that and I was like, okay, you're just another man. But it just sucks because, like, my whole life I've wanted to have someone there for me and someone to love me the way I would love someone else. And the fact that I feel like that's tarnished and my trust for people are tarnished, for men specifically, just because of all of these situations that have happened. And as much as I want to blame myself because I really feel like it's my fault for letting these people into my life, it just sucks because I feel like I have the notion that all men are the same. Like, at this point, I could care less if I fucking died alone. I could care less if I grew old and didn't have children. As much as I really would.
So, I mean, this is black pill talking points. These are black pill talking points. These are the things that we discuss on this channel all the time about men feeling disenfranchised and not seen or heard in the dating market. And now you have women, below average women, who are saying the same thing, but they're not going to get accosted. They're not going to get shamed. They're not going to get dissed or crapped on. As a matter of fact, if we look in the comments, which I'm about to do right now, I don't know why, but X just booted me off of live. This is wild. But I'm gonna try to get back on, but I don't know if it's gonna work. But you have women who are in the comments, and I mean, it's a lot of coke.
Literally die to have a man. Someone genuinely likes me, they care less if I fucking died alone. I could care less if I grew old and didn't have children. As much as I really would literally die to have a man. Someone genuinely likes me, they're gonna have to go to the mountains and hills just to get my attention. Because it's clear that men.
So because she's had trouble dating, her standards only increased. How does this make sense? You're having trouble dating. Instead of lowering your standards, physical standards, which is probably the first step, your standards increase when you didn't really do anything to improve. It's crazy. And I could probably do a whole show on just this one woman's TikTok, which I might do because it's very interesting and I'm not trying to shit on her, but it's just like, baby, you have to understand where you're at. your attractiveness level and what you can attract. Massively ugly, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable man. You are a bottom tier Malcolm dater. Medium ugly, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable man. You stay within those two and you will be fine.
Only want to use me, and I don't know if it's because like I'm just not their type and they don't care and they don't see me as a human, or because they just are so lonely that they can't get a woman by just actually getting to know her and not getting in her pants the first time they meet. Like, I could be having a normal conversation with a man and all of a sudden it'll shift to like something sexual. And it's just like, okay, whatever. I expected this. As always, it's always going to go this way. I literally met this guy at school and I was in his car and all of a sudden he was just like spewing these like sexual things. And I'm just like, bruh, we just met and we literally were talking as friends. Like, what is it about their mind?
Again, women can't have male friends, especially if there's attraction there. I always said men can only be friends with women if the woman is unattractive or if she's dyking. But I mean, this woman is not conventionally attractive, and you still have men who are willing to hit, which just shows that men will hit anything. And that's concerning in and of itself.
That make them go monkey brain for a girl. Literally met this other guy at my school. I wasn't even trying to attract him. Like, I was literally lying and telling him I was from Wakanda and shit. And he comments on my story, "Oh, you're so pretty." And then I'm just like, okay, I know where this is about to go. Like, he'll ask if I'm okay and all this shit, and then he'll want to meet up with me, and I'm just like, okay, I'm done. But yeah, that's my experience. And honestly, this prompted me to just find something I'm passionate about, even though it's really hard to do so.
She's heavily projecting, it sounds like. But I want to go back to her page just to show you guys how right I was about the makeup thing. Dating hasn't been a priority for me. So these are people in the comments. Since I moved out, I realized I was only using it as a distraction for what was going on at home. Now, let's keep it a buck. We know this is a damn lie. A lot of women are saying, oh, well, dating isn't a priority. Dating isn't a priority, but they're all getting smashed. They're all going out to clubs and bars. Bro, I'm going to show you the woman who just said dating isn't a priority for me. And bro, you can't make this shit up. This is the same woman. Dating isn't a priority for me, but I'm shaking my ass on TikTok searching for male attention. And none of them can dance like that. This is actually really embarrassing. But let's go back to the comments. Stopped dating a long time ago. I care about how all I care about now is making money and school. I've given up. You aren't ugly at all. You're beautiful. So, you know, people are gassing her. Like I said, man, she's below average in attractiveness. There's nothing wrong with that. But if these women won't be honest with her, I'm going to have to be the one who's going to be honest with her. Okay, so now let's get into the main topic. Women in DC being not the beauty standard, as she put it. And this video is pretty much going viral. She's saying black women or ethnic women in general in DC are not the beauty standard, which I pretty much find hard to believe because it is Chocolate City. And this woman is light-skinned, so we know that she's benefiting from light-skin privilege and pretty privilege because she's not ugly. But the reason why she's struggling is mainly because of her attitude, her mindset, and the way that she presents herself to men and social media. She is telling social media that she's dating hypergamously. She's dating hypergamously to get a top-level guy, and it's not working because she's not a top-level chick. But she's attractive, and we'll get into it. And we'll give her a rating and all that stuff. And I'll tell you what type of Malcolm she could probably acquire if she changes her demeanor, her attitude. Shout out to Sergeant Hoddle again. He says, ma'am, lose 40 pounds and stop being a 304. Then magically your dating problems are solved way simpler than what Chads have to do to maintain. Yeah, that's facts.
Dating in DC is trash. I'm gonna tell you why. Go ahead, Allie.
All right, so we went out to 4 different bars yesterday,
Yeah, like lounges. They're all upscale.
all upscale, all at really high-end hotels.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that we observed is that men want to approach you. They will approach you
They were gonna approach you.
after you pay your tab.
Yeah. It's a weird dating culture here. This is not like a New York. It's not like a Miami where if men see you, you're beautiful. Can I get you a drink? Can I get you something? Right? It's over here that they want to make conversation. And I do think this is related to being a minority because we are not the beauty standard here. We are not the beauty standard. No. Not in DC. Not in DC. No. Anyway, let me not go into that. Go ahead, please.
So pretty much we went to one lounge in particular.
Mm-hmm.
There's an energy convention going on.
Mhm.
A lot of males.
We were probably
I
there's
don't know. It's
like four women.
and like 25 men.
Yeah. So we're thinking pickings are great. Like we're not gonna have to really pay for anything. Like, and these are all men, literally business suits. Like they are all dressed. Like they look like they are, loaded. Like they look like they're very comfortable. Okay. And this is a very nice hotel lounge. Okay.
They have no problem staring though.
No problem staring, honey.
Because we were looking good.
We were looking good. And my thing is, we're wrapping up the night. Okay. No one's saying anything. We're just getting stares. I'm like, well, we're just going to go then. So we, pretty much the bill comes.
Yes. And then one guy who's been eyeing Mara all night
Mm.
comes over, tells her, "You're so hot. I told my friends that I know you. That's why I'm staring."
And he's like, well, can you stay? Like, I'll get you something top shelf. And I said, well, we were actually about to leave. And we're actually about to close out the tab. So, I mean, if you want to cover this, you can. And if you want us to stay, but if not, like, we're just going to go. And what did he say? Go ahead.
He put his hand out and he said, "No, I can't do that."
I already told you girls when a man says no to you, what the hell that means, okay? At this point, you're not even trying to impress. So,
Yo, this woman is literally insufferable. You can't tell her no, even though if a woman tells a man no, no means no, right? She wants him to buy them drinks and all this kind of stuff. And, he puts it down right. Let's listen back.
are, loaded. Like they look like they're very comfortable, okay? And this is a very nice hotel lounge, okay?
They have no problem staring though.
No problem staring, honey.
Because we were looking good.
Okay. Nobody has to pay you to look at you. Y'all are posting yourselves online for the free ski. Why would a man have to pay you to look at you, take a glance at you? It's utterly ridiculous.
We were looking good. And my thing is, we're wrapping up the night. Okay. No one's saying anything. We're just getting stares. I'm like, well, we're just going to go then. So we, pretty much the bill comes.
Yeah. And then one guy who's been eyeing Mara all night
Mm.
comes over, tells her, "You're so hot. I told my friends that I know you."
So the man says you're so hot, which I don't think is a good one-liner opener, but she rolls her eyes at it. So obviously she's not interested.
That's why I'm staring.
And he's like, well, can you stay? Like, I'll get you something top shelf. And I said, well, we were actually about to leave. And we're actually about to close out the tab. So, I mean, if you want to cover this, you can. And if you want us to stay, but if not, like, we're just going to go.
So she wants the man to cover the tab so that they can stay. Tell me how these hoes ain't broke. This is not women, black women, ethnic women are undesirable or not the beauty standard. This is you being a complete bitch. You're just a bitch. That's really it. Like, you're not nice. You're not a sweet person. You're not a sweet girl. You're not a sweet woman. You are manipulative. You are, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. The entitlement.
And what did he say? Go ahead.
He put his hand out and he said, "No, I can't do that."
I already told you girls when a man says no to you, what the hell that means, okay? At this point, you're not even trying to impress. So I was like, okay, thank you for your no. And I'm going to say no to you. So we're just going to go then. So as we're leaving, he starts to chase me down talking about where you going. And I said, well, you're not going to pay. So why are we going to stay?
I swear modern women just want to be prostitutes. If y'all want to be prostitutes, just say that.
Like what freaking logic is that? So anywho, where we were seated, there was a table next to us of two older men, and
They're witnessing everything.
they witnessed the whole entire exchange. And then one of them was like, what do you say?
Because she said out loud that if you're not paying my tab,
I did. I said it all out loud. Yeah.
Then that man, another man who's staring, who witnessed everything,
Mhm.
said, I agree with you. I agree that a man should pay the tab.
Oh my God, the beta simp tab. You got a beta simp, old generation of men coming in. Oh, I agree that the man should pay the tab. For what? He just came up to you. Why would he pay your tab that you just ran up when he just approached you? That's insane, bro.
If he wants you to stay. But the thing is, he didn't pay either.
And the thing is too, they
Because
were
he didn't want your ass to stay because he saw how you were behaving and treating another man. This is wild.
trying to sneak in conversations with her when I'm going to the bathroom, stuff like that. You know, just kind of like they were also kind of chipping in the whole entire night that we were there. And it's kind of like, if you're not going to, I think the bar culture or lounge culture is, if you want to talk to a single beautiful woman, that there is some type of, we want to pay, we want to do something, right? It's not free.
Tell me how what she is saying is not prostitution. Tell me. I'll wait. I'll take a sip of water. Tell me how what she is saying is not prostitution.
Free conversation out here. We're not doing that, okay? So the fact that you want to make a comment on that and not even solve the problem, it's better if you just said nothing. That's my thing. So say nothing. You can observe the situation and say nothing. Okay, like why even make a comment? That's what I think kind of like rubbed us the wrong way. And then we went to another place and literally the same thing happened. We're about to leave. Our things already paid. We want you to stay. We want you to stay now. We'll get you whatever you want. And it's like, but we already paid. Were you going to solve the problem? No. Yeah. So we had a continuation literally throughout the night of men who would wait for our bill to already be there and or pay, then want to come at us with the whole whatever. Okay, these were black men, these were white men, these were middle-aged men too at that, men with money, all of them talking about money, all of this. And it's like, sir, sit the F down. I'm sorry, but it's crazy. We had all this weaponized incompetence. We had men telling us that there are more beautiful women in San Diego and LA as they're also talking to us. So it's like, hello, are we not sitting next to you? Like, it was just so weird. It was strange. It was strange behavior.
And she doesn't find any issue with her behavior. How can you take modern women seriously, bro? I genuinely don't understand.
It just shows that we're not wanted here.
That's it. Compared to Miami, compared to New York City, I do not feel like there was the energy there, that we actually felt like we were wanted or desired, because the typical culture is you want to talk to a single beautiful woman, the first thing out of your mouth is, oh my God, can I get you something? What are you girls here for tonight? Can I get you something? If you want to engage in conversation, but we're not about to be going back and forth all night. And then you're like, well, have a good one. Let me get my tab. Like, that's not normal when we're dating in bigger cities. So we do not recommend it here. Bye.
Yo, this woman is completely insufferable. Let's see the comments. You're not going to pay, so we're not going to stay. What other professions have those rules? Asking for a friend. I freely cover a drink or a few, but a tab is interesting. I've never paid for a tab in DC, literally ever. And this is a woman, a different woman, who's coming out and saying that she gets her tab paid for. She got a kid. So, and it looks like she got a boyfriend too. So I just don't believe it. Locals don't go to the hotels, lounges. Those are visitors. DC is great for dating. I'm a living testimony. I've never experienced this in DC. I don't bring any other than my ID regularly. Been here my whole life. Dating is not hard. I went on 3 dates within 1 week. Depends on where you go and what you're looking for. So a lot of women are disagreeing with her, saying that dating isn't hard. Nobody really checked her on her attitude except the one man earlier. And then we're going to break down this woman breaking down her video and responding to that. Then we're gonna go ahead and get up out of here because I don't know why the Twitter stream dropped, but I mean that's where most of my viewers were coming from. So maybe I'll do a space on Twitter later on. But yeah, I'm also gonna do a debate on my Reclaim Your Throne TikTok. So we're going to do a presidential debate, and that one should be interesting.
So I'm sure by now we've all seen that video of the girl saying that dating in DC is just not it. And she goes on to say that Black women are not the beauty standard in DC. DC aside, I just need to get this off my chest. I really hate when Black women come on the internet and say that Black women are not the beauty standard. I think it's one thing to acknowledge the fact that, like, yes, some Black women are excluded from certain beauty standards, but to say it as like this like immovable, truly factual thing is just very problematic to me, because I really feel like we should be promoting inclusivity rather than just accepting exclusivity. Saying that Black women are not the beauty standard is not a fact. It's absolutely not a fact. And then to say that specifically about
I mean, saying that they are the beauty standard, I don't think is a fact either. So just want to clarify that as well.
a place like DC that is majority Black is so crazy. Like, you can say dating in DC is bad all you want, but to go ahead and say that Black women are not the standard beauty standard in DC specifically, it's just inaccurate. It's inaccurate. And now obviously this is where my bias comes in, right? Y'all know this. I've said it a million times on this app. I moved here from Boston. Before I moved here and I lived in Boston, I experienced firsthand what it was like to not be most Black men's first choice. They always wanted the ambiguous Black woman, the one that kind of looks like she could be Dominican, or she could be Habesha, or she could be half white, half Black. You never really knew what she was. Someone like me who presents phenotypically very Black, I'm fully African, like I'm a little, you know, a little thick, a little curvy. I was never getting the looks. I never was. Until I moved to DC, I never really understood like the power of like how attractive I was. It was the first time that I felt like a majority of the people around me really could look at me and see the beauty in who I am as a Black woman, and left it like at that. All that to say, if this is your experience and you feel like you are not the beauty standard, it's really important to not accept that as this like unchangeable fact, but more to just challenge those standards and what that even means, because we are the beauty standard. And in some places, you're going to feel it more than others.
I mean, is anybody gonna say how bitchy that woman was though? Like, dude, she's just not somebody who seems like a nice person or a sweet woman. I don't believe in paying for tabs and all this other stuff unless it's your actual girl. Because I don't think you should lead with your wallet with women. But man, it's just like that woman was impossible to listen to. And this woman here, she has much more of an optimistic, realistic tone and demeanor in the way that she presents herself. I would say she's probably a 5. She's got a very, very big forehead, very big chin. And she's saying she has no issues dating, when objectively, I would say the woman before her was more physically attractive, but it's about the way you present yourself and your demeanor and the way that you hold yourself and your attitude. And that woman previously, her attitude was just completely nasty and disgusting. And she was definitely giving off prostitute, whore, sex worker vibes. So I hope you guys like this stream. Very interesting takes from these women. I broke down a few videos. I'm trying to catch up on some videos that I've been backlogged and haven't been able to put out. But what I'll do is once I catch up on these videos, I'll start putting back the premieres, and then I'll also start doing more live streams. But make sure you check out the Reclaim Your Throne TikTok. I'm going to be doing debates on there. So that's going to be super interesting, super fun. We're going to talk about the election and all that kind of stuff. So, hop over there. I would say within the next few hours, because I got to walk my dog first. But appreciate everybody for joining. And you already know what it is. It's your boy Reclaim Your Throne. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Send relationship request to the email down below with a screenshot of your CashApp so I know you're paying advertisement. Y'all need to be on your mark for getting with the BS. You already know. Reclaim Your Throne.
Want to become an elite level athlete? Well, look no further. The Reclaim Your Throne Elite D1 training course is all you need to take your performance from subpar to the creme de la creme of athletes all around the world. The purpose of this course is to give you a comprehensive weight training, speed, flexibility, recovery, and endurance program that is meant to prepare young athletes for collegiate and professional sports. This course is packed with over 2 hours of creative, action-packed lifts narrated and coached by yours truly to assure increased strength, speed, flexibility, recovery, and endurance. Hey, I get it. Training alone can be tough and can even make you feel misguided or somewhat unmotivated. But with this course, I walk you step by step through each and every lift to make sure you're using the proper form to prevent injuries and that you're hitting the correct muscle groups to render maximum results. So what are you waiting for? It's now or never. So go ahead and get the training course today so you too can reclaim your throne.